Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? I'm here this week with Jared Hart, an amazing musician from my home state of New Jersey. Plays in the band Mercy Union, as well as formerly of the Scandals. Pleasure to have you here, Jared. How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in, bud. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's an absolute honor for me to have you here. I've got to see you plenty of times. Saw you with Scandals open for Face to Face. Saw you solo open for Racket Club the first time I saw you solo, and Mercy Union. Like, it's just an awesome thing of what you do and keep creating music. And we're just happy to have you here.
Thank you. Stoked to be here.
So congratulations on the new tune that dropped,
Thank
Prussian
you.
Blue. It's pretty, it's catchy. It's really good and coming at a crazy time lyrically. What was it written for?
Wow. Yeah, you're the first person to bring up that. So that song I wrote the lyrics for a couple years ago after finishing the HBO Chernobyl series.
Okay.
And I dove down a pretty heavy rabbit hole with that and just was kind of fascinated by the idea of an entire population of people living their daily lives and going about it and doing their best to function in society and better themselves and take care of everything they need to take care of, when at the end of the day, your whole life can be turned upside down and either changed in the worst ways by, one person fucking up. And it kind of painted this bigger picture of how little control we all have on this earth. And I thought that was an interesting concept, so I dug into it, and I actually found the idea of Prussian Blue as both this color that existed. It was like the first form of blue pigment to ever exist that took to canvas. Artists tried to find all these different combinations but could never really find a blue like that to use for paint. So Prussian Blue became one of the first things used creatively to put that color on a canvas, but it's also on the other end in the medical sense. You take it in a pill form if you're exposed to high levels of radiation, i.e. nuclear fallout, whatever that is. And basically what it does is it attaches to the radiation in your body and pushes it all out through your waste. And I just kind of found that chorus to be, I need you like a Prussian Blue, like I literally need you like this life-saving thing, but also in a way artists needed color to be able to paint what they needed to see, kind of put those two together. And then fast forward to the last few months of insanity in the world, and contextually, I write a lot of lyrics so that it can be interpreted in any way. Like the lyrics themselves are always about a broader idea than one singular thing, because any music I've ever attached to, I was able to put my own context onto the song, and it stuck with me like that. Like I have songs that my context, I'm sure, is extremely different than the person that wrote it. And in the same respect, I don't even want to know what theirs was.
No, because now it's yours. It means something completely different to you. So that's, you want to hold on to that.
Yeah. So even going into this is hard for me. I don't usually talk about it even to this extent, but it's been something in my own head a lot. And when I wrote the first verse with the feel that February line, that was just because I thought the word worked. Like the word February felt really good and the cadence of it fit there in the rhythm. And now listening to that song in full context of just like what's happening in the world and the area of the world that I was focused on when I was inspired to write this years ago, fucked me up pretty good. So it's interesting that you dug into it like that a little bit.
Yeah, I listened to it a bunch of times because it was just like it kept catching with me, and every time I listened to it, I caught something different in the song. So like I was just like, I'm like, this is weird. Like when, and I wanted to know like when you wrote it, and that, like it's almost like you're the Nostradamus of songwriting now. Like
Oh, don't. No. Because I'm going to start writing songs about all my friends getting rich and us all just partying. That's what I got to do if that's the case.
Hey, well then, hey, start writing those tunes.
That's it. World
so
is
we
great.
can all party at each other's beach houses.
That's it. The world is great. Everyone's happy. Let's go party. But yeah, it kind of fucked me up to the point where I was like, is this even appropriate to put out? But you know, I don't want anything to be taken like in an exploitive way. But the context just really like cracked me in the jaw, especially my first verse where I was like, dude, applying this to what I'm watching on my phone every night, you know, going down those rabbit holes, watching what's going on in Ukraine. And I just, it kind of messed me up for a minute. So, yeah, the song wasn't written about that. It wasn't really written about Chernobyl either. It was just kind of used as a talking point on human ignorance and fragility. But yeah, you can definitely look through a certain lens and apply it where you see fit.
Well, you know, I don't mean to bring up things like that, but it was just, you know, one of those things that I heard something and I was like, wow, like what's going on here? So that's why I asked the question. And
totally,
it's the same thing. Like I like to find my own meaning onto things, but I also sometimes I like to hear the meaning. And the fact that you wrote it 2 years ago is just now it's even more mind blowing hearing the fucking song when I go listen to it.
Yeah, and that was when I tell you that the I usually don't like to just throw words at stuff because it sounds good. But I tried to fit so many different words in that feel that February line, feel that February burn for you, and it just rolled so well, especially into the next line that I'm like, who cares? What does February mean? Who gives a shit? And now I'm like, oh yeah, it's a little weird, buddy. Yeah,
well, it's a banger of a song.
Thank you. I appreciate you listening to it. I love that song. You know, I love all the context. I love where it came from. Just stoked to finally have people hear it.
Yeah. Is that the basis for things to come for the next Mercy Union, or
in what sense?
Working on new material for new album, or
yeah. I mean, we got to get this one out. That's high priority. In the process of figuring out the plans for that right now, but I'm hoping in the summer everyone's got the windows down and they're bumping this one. That'll be cool. So other than process, we're just booking some tours, trying to get this record out and see it all the way through. So we'll be pretty busy over the next year or so, but I actually just been slowly chipping away at some solo stuff too. So that's something that is on the horizon as well.
Nice. So staying busy. I mean, is that a part of your, do you stop? Do you ever stop and relax, or is it just part of your creative outlet to just constantly be writing?
I would say I stop, but it's not to relax. I had this conversation with someone over the weekend, actually, that a huge part of my writing is writing about experience and human experiences, whether it's mine or the people that I care about or people that I find interesting. And in order to do that, you have to have experience yourself. So I'm not really the kind of dude that just sits in the same room every day for 8 hours and just churns out songs to churn them out because I kind of need something to talk about. So the only good thing that came out of the pandemic was that I was locked in the house for a year and a half, and all I did was write. And there was plenty of back-ended experience to plug in. But so I have this backlog of songs that I'm kind of just wading through. You know, the Mercy Union record was a big part of it. We ended up doing, I think the whole session was 13 songs. And then, you know, however many will end up on the album, but I think in the solo bank we're hitting a good chunk that I got to at least start putting them down and figuring out where they belong. So yeah, I guess I don't really ever stop writing because I do play every day, but it's never like you need to sit down and put 4 chords together today or you're a failure, because I kind of got other shit to do too.
What's your favorite experience that you've had that you've written about so far?
My favorite, because here's the thing, saying favorite experience is tough because most of them I never want to do again.
Most memorable. How about that?
Most memorable. Oh man, that's really tough. Let me come back to that. Remember that question, because that's a good one, and I'm never good really on the spot. The one I can think about recently is it's only memorable because the story is really funny. But I wrote this song about a friend's relationship ending, and I was an intimate rubbernecker of this relationship just because how close we are, and I was there for the whole process, just listening and being there for it. And I wrote this song that was probably the most detailed, specific of a song about someone else that I've ever written, but it kind of had to be. And I've had it for a while, didn't tell the person. And fast forward, I did a live stream during the pandemic at Crossroads, and I decided to play that song, and I prefaced it by, this is, you know, about a friend, blah blah blah. Didn't say anything, and I played the song. And I was like a little nervous about it, and I was like, all right, you know, I'd played it on tour a little bit, but it was never really filmed or put anywhere. It's not released. It wasn't released yet. And at like 2 or 3 in the morning, I got a text from the person saying, we need to talk about this song I heard tonight. And I went, oh no, because I don't know how this is going to get taken, you know. But they literally pulled out that it was them from the specifics of it, which was brilliant. And fast forward to, wasn't mad about it, totally loved it. He's a songwriter as well, so we totally bonded over the experience. Fast forward a couple months later, where I ended up just putting this song on a Bandcamp Friday thing of a demo I always liked. And I needed a name for it. I hadn't named it. So I named it something I thought was very clever. And I get another call from this person. And he goes, are you kidding me with that title? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, it's the title of the first track on my EP from like 5 years ago. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, I subconsciously named the song about you, one of your songs. So that's the one that sticks in the back of my head right now. But
that's pretty memorable.
Yeah. I was just glad he wasn't mad at me.
Well, that's good. As long as you're still friends, that's all that matters.
I think we got closer because of it, if that was even possible.
That's great. It's a good story.
Yeah.
So how about your first musical memory? Do you remember the first time you heard music?
I don't remember the exact first time, but I'm assuming it was probably Bob Dylan. My mom had a strict Bob Dylan only policy. If she was in the car, that was all that was allowed on. Tom Petty could squeeze in there a little bit because he was a Wilbury. That was allowed. Some Beatles were allowed sometimes with her, but it was like all Dylan all the time. So that was probably my first round. But we had music on in the house a lot. My dad used to play a ton of everything from like classical to classic rock and all his stuff and jazz and new wave, and he was a very good influence on just letting me hear everything and not judging me on what I wanted to hear either. I mean, like 7 years old, when you start getting into stuff, you're like, oh, cool, Backstreet Boys are cool, and they're like, whatever, man, like just listen to music, you know?
Yeah.
So I can't really put my finger on the first thing, but we had a lot of music, that's for sure.
No, I mean, and those are my memories too of, music always being played in the house. Like my favorite thing in remembering certain things in my life is my dad running speaker wire through the, basement up to the upstairs so he could plug in the speakers downstairs and upstairs. And like, this
Oh,
is in
wow.
the early 80s. So whatever record he was playing would be playing throughout the house.
That's amazing.
It was a lot of Bob Seger and Gordon Lightfoot, but it was still music to listen to around the house.
I love that. But sidebar, I just sent a bunch of pictures. I saw Sergi from Sam I Am this weekend, and I just sent him a bunch of pictures, and he was like, "Good times. I'm in Denver right now, so I guess they're good to go."
Awesome.
You're gonna get a good show.
I will see him tomorrow then.
Oh man! So you had Gordon Lightfoot bumping through the house. My brother-in-law is obsessed with Gordon Lightfoot. Loves Gordon Lightfoot. I've seen him so many times.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. That's weird.
They love it. Dudes, I got to give that dude so much props. He drags his ass out on the road constantly. The dude tours his ass off. He is so old.
Yeah, I don't know how he moves. I mean, watching his documentary, I was just like, how is he still getting up every day and performing?
And performing at a high level. He sounds good. Like, mad props, whether you like it or not. Dude's a road dog.
Well, I mean, when it's in you and that's what you do, I mean, it's got to be hard to ever let it go away or give it up. Or, I mean, watching some of these guys get out there that I'm just like in awe that like Mick Jagger still dancing on stage to me is like, dude, what the fuck, man?
I
like,
know.
You don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah, but I think at a certain point, the stopping feels like it would stop everything, if that makes sense. Like it just becomes as important as breathing, where it's like I see this with people that don't want to retire. They're afraid to just stop moving in that sense.
That's my father. I said that the day he truly stops, when he physically can't be able to do any type of work, whether it's, he retired 3 times. Then started his own little consulting company because he still wanted to work. But it's one of those things I tell people all the time. The minute my father can no longer rake the leaves, he's 76. The minute he can't do something anymore, that's when he dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's I guess it's the same for, old rock stars.
I can only imagine what that feels like when you're used to running around and getting that kind of love every night. It becomes part of your being.
Yeah, it's the drug, it's that live performance drug, and the adulation that you receive from it. I mean, it's just, there's nothing like it. So
for sure.
How about your first musical memory when you found your own music in life?
There's a couple of interesting stories with that. I would say the most pivotal one, I was kind of like, I didn't have, my sister is a good chunk older than me, and so she was in college in the 90s and was into all that shit. So like anything on alternative radio she was into, which a lot of that has still resonated with me now. Some of my like top 10 island records, if I ever got stuck, are from that time of sitting in the backseat of her car when she was in college. But I didn't really have someone that was showing me like what I wanted. you know, she was into music, but it wasn't like her life. You know, I didn't have like that cousin in a band or like that was going to shows every weekend that was showing me what was happening new. Um, so I had to kind of rely on friends, and through grammar school, I was kind of fumbling around with like new metal and shit because that was big, and I had some buds into that. So we, you know, I mean, when System of a Down dropped Toxicity, we all lost our minds. I still love it, but I still kind of knew like I wasn't fully into that whole thing. You know, I loved Metallica. I was into that shit. But then one day, my best friend growing up, who I started the Scandals with, my buddy Sam, came in the schoolyard. I can like see it like a picture. Like it's like one of those things that's still, as much as I try to Men in Black erase my brain on the weekends, it's still there. And he walks in with his Walkman and he's like, dude, like you got to listen to this, like for real. And it was a burnt CD. The first half was Operation Ivy Energy, and the other half was the NoFX Rancid split. And his cousin was older than him, like grew up in Hackettstown, was going to shows, was in ska bands and shit, like had Bouncing Souls tattoo, was like the cool cousin, you know, and he like passed this off to kind of get him off the stop listening to Korn and shit.
Yeah. Get off the radio.
Yo, straight up. And I couldn't believe, like I couldn't believe what this was. Like I was like, yes. I just remember saying like, yes, like this is it now. And like we went right to his house. He burned me a copy. I still have the copy he burned me with like the photocop back cover of Energy so I could learn all the song names and shit. And that was it. Like it was like a landslide after that of like, okay, now I have this starting point. And at the time, that was probably like 2002 or 3. So like all of a sudden I'm finding Rancid and they're putting a new record out, you know, like here's Indestructible. You're fucking 13 years old and here's your new favorite band's brand new record, which anyone can argue, whatever. That will always hold that place for me because that's where I found it. And it was on TV. They had videos on the radio. It's like, holy shit, this dude with the mohawk is like on MTV, you know, like they're touring. And then from that, they're wearing patches on their vests of all these other bands. And you find those bands and you end up, you're like, holy shit, there's 30 plus years of a rabbit hole that I need to like go down. And this is before, you know, Spotify and all that shit, even though we had LimeWire and everything, as many new songs you found, you got as many new viruses on your computer. So it was a little bit of a longer process. But it was like a full blown age of discovery of finding this shit that was exciting every day. There was something new and exciting to find. And that moment in the school year, was it. We started a band like a couple of weeks later, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a time too where like when you would get a CD, it would have, you know, the labels, other bands on it, which was another great way to find stuff. For me, it was, you know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And it was only going to a local record store and having the cool kid with blue hair behind the counter turn you on to something because you just didn't know what was out there because you were so used to fucking the radio and, you know, what was it? C100, and then there was 104.3, which was the alternative station, and 89.5, which was Seton Hall, and then the cool 88.7, which was William Patterson, was where a lot of awesome music I got to find through there.
Hell yeah.
But I mean, there wasn't a way to get it. And that little booklet inside that would have, and other bands on our label, and you can order their shirt and their, you know, the shirt that fucking gave you rashes all the time because it was so heavy and
yeah.
But I mean, especially that, and when you hear something like that, and then when you get to see what Tim and Lars look like, I mean, it's definitely like, whoa, what is this fucking world?
Absolutely. And like I remember, especially everyone being into the new metal shit at first, like everyone got like a shitty guitar, you know, like the $100 pack with the amp and the guitar and everything. And we'd all like sit around like printing out tabs for songs and like, yeah, bro, we're learning this the wrong way. Everything is the wrong way. And I remember a big thing for us was like magazines. Like we used to buy AP and stuff like that. And Guitar World. We'd get guitar. Look at these crazy guitars. You know, every other issue is like Joe Satriani on the cover. But
Yeah.
like once in a blue, you get someone sick. You get like dude from Metallica's on. Kirk is on it. You know, like dude from System of a Down's on it. There's like I remember when Jade from AFI was on it. I was like, this is sick as fuck. And there was a cover one with Lars and Tim, and you know they're full blown like battle vested, like they're like backstage at a show, and they look. I can still see this picture. It's one of the fucking coolest pictures in the world. And I was like, yo, not like they sound dope, look dope, and look all over their vests. It's like you could pinpoint bands that they're boys with, and they're repping them just as hard as their own bands. And I was like, that's the shit. Like, that is the coolest shit. So I would just find that band and be like, this is sick. And then I'd watch videos of that band and be like, oh, like AFI has a Rancid sticker on their Les Paul. Like, they're tight. Oh shit, they're from the East Bay. Like, who else is from the East Bay? And I go down that rabbit hole, you know, and find bands like American Steel and Sam I Am and all that stuff. And like, it was just such an awesome thread to pull. Like it didn't end. It still hasn't ended, you know, but that was where it kind of started with all that shit.
Yeah, no, and it was such a great time, and I guess it's because it's so near and dear to me. But thinking about the bands that I listened to and found back in the '90s, like that, like a Sam I Am, from listening to Bad Religion and somebody saying, "Hey, check out this band," and just like snowballing. The greatest thing is the music snowball of where it can go.
Of course.
You know, getting the bands overseas that, you know, like my thing, one of the bands, Leatherface. Like,
yeah,
I never would have heard that if it wasn't for somebody being like, yo, check these guys out. And I'm like, where the fuck are they from? And then leads me to Hot Water Music, then like where I just saw you at the show.
Yeah.
And it just opens up these doorways to so much different shit, which I think nowadays, where people are so programmed with just putting an artist they like on Spotify and seeing, hope maybe something else pops up for them. But it's just that sense of discovery is what I still long for. And that's why I do what I do with this show. I just finding stuff and being like, yo, you gotta listen to this because it's fucking awesome.
Of course. And it's also a thirst for it too. You know, like I need something new. I mean, every CD I bought, I used to pop it open and read the liner notes of like who the band thanked. And if they thanked other bands, I'm like, damn, they must really like that band. And I go listen to them, you know, like that's how I found everything. And that's why when I like do that shit, I still do that. I'm like, yo, these are the bands that are my boys that I want you to listen to. Like maybe two of you that buy this actually even opened it. Like, but at the same time, like that's how I always looked at it, was the only way we're going to find out about each other is telling people about it. So, you know, and then there used to be comps. I mean, I remember like finding so many bands on comps. I don't know if that's even viable anymore with the internet. Like who's buying a comp LP because they're not buying a CD. But I mean, even as something as simple as like Punk-O-Rama and the Warped Tour and the Hellcat comps, forget about it.
Yeah, Fat Records for Fat People, and
dude,
you know, the Deep Elm and the Crank, you know, like all that kind of stuff.
Even the Atticus ones that we all
the Atticus,
that was my, you know, my time frame of all of us. Like we would wear at the height of it, you know, we were mohawked up with boots and studded belts and like vests that we were popping in all our own pins and shit and all the studs, and like wearing Os Rotten shirts and Crash shirts and, you know, really going for it. And then like, you know, you got the early 2000s emo and pop punk thing blowing up, but everyone's like, fuck that. But when everyone's drunk at the party and on the weekend and someone puts it on, everyone knows all the lyrics to Cute Without the E, you know? Doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what kind of look you got going on, everyone's going nuts. So, but those comps like were so diverse too. I mean, I remember I was telling Brendan from the Lawrence Arms at one point, I was like, dog, I found you on the Warped Tour comp because you were the only band that sounded like that. Like I couldn't believe it. You know, it was Alert the Audience, I think. And I was like, this is nuts. This dude's voice is fucking nuts. It's heavy, but it's like pop. It's got like a pop hooky thing to it. It's just fun. And I remember like just the discovery of that. Like every song was a new band that you didn't know yet, and that was
Yeah, and
cool
his
as hell.
solo stuff was great too.
Oh yeah,
To hear the difference from the Lawrence Arms to him doing solo stuff,
a
like that's what I
great
love too.
songwriter and even better lyricist, that's for sure.
The good old days. Yeah, I had it's funny, Rancid. I had Brenna Red from the Last Gang on the
Oh,
show, and
nice.
she was like, yeah, no, I grew up thinking my brother was Tim Armstrong. Like I played drums in his band when I was 13 years old, and
Yeah.
he was, playing shows, and she's like, he just looked like. I mean, I saw a picture of Tim, and I was just like, yeah, no, my brother's Tim Armstrong. And she goes, then I grew up and realized he wasn't because Tim Armstrong's much cooler than my brother. But yeah, it was. It's that old timey thing, and like the mohawks, the jackets, that
The
the
coolest.
patches and the buttons, like that's how finding out bands, like, oh my god, look at that patch, like who is that,
Yeah,
and then
and at the
finding them.
yeah, it's like almost like you're a walking billboard because you're also telling everyone, yeah, you're separate. It's an identity thing. Like that was the coolest thing about falling into that world was like, okay, everyone at school looks the same. Everyone is into the same shit. Everyone is like clamoring to what's popular. Oh, so it shifts in for a minute. Everyone wants this new designer thing or some shit, and it's like I was like watching. I'm like, that's fucking gross, you know? Like, just you're first of all, when you're in high school alone, you don't have the money to do all that shit, so you're putting that pressure on each other. And I came from a big high school, thousands of kids. But the punk thing was like, yo, not only is this kind of like a weird uniform, but like you're walking down the hall, you see someone wearing that band shirt, and the other person sees you don't know them, and all of a sudden you're connected without having to say it. Like it's
Yeah,
this
your sense of
automatic.
community.
We get it.
Yeah.
One of my best friends in the entire world. That's how I met him. Like literally in college. That's walked in the room one day wearing a Minor Threat shirt. I had a shaved head, probably wearing like fucking Marauder shirt or something. And he was just kind of. We were both like, look at these two assholes. And we were at the end of it. We were like, all right, like we might be the only two assholes here. But the direct connection with your own identity through clothes, through expression, putting the pin of the band you like on your own vest, painting. I used to hand paint all my friends' vests and shit and jackets. And that was like a cool thing. My mom used to be a sign painter, and we used to sit down there and she would like show me how to like hand do all the like calligraphy and all. She taught me old English. She was so into it. She used to like paint like dudes' motorcycles and bike clubs and shit. And she was like,
It's awesome.
when I brought that to her, she was like, all right, like we can get down on this. We could fuck up a vintage jacket you found at the thrift store. Like, let's do it. But that was like a way to, as a really young kid, be like, this is me. This is what I'm into. Where I see people now struggling to be able to do that in their 30s and 40s, where at a really young age, we were able to just be so flamboyantly aggressive about it. And just like, yo, look at us. This is what I love. If you do too, let's hang, and that was always super cool to me to like teach you how to just like push it and how to find your own place in it.
Yeah, and I mean that's what music does, and that's why the musical community, the universal language of the world is music. And just going to a show, when I went to see Hot Water Music, I was there by myself, and I just knew I was going to meet friends,
Mm-hmm.
because we're all there they're friends I haven't met yet, because we're all
Yeah.
there for the same thing. And that's the way I look at it. I'm flying to Denver tomorrow, go to a show by myself,
Hell
and
yeah.
I'll meet friends there. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because that's what music does. And you're all if you're at the same place, you're all there for the same reason. And there's no reason why you can't be friends. And that's what I love about the musical community, because it's so open and welcoming, as opposed to other facets of communities out there.
Yeah. There's obviously exceptions to all of it, but I do think that that's what gravitated me towards jumping into that world to begin with, is that it's definitely a more accepting and open-minded realm most of the time. I will say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's few places in the world that I feel more comfortable than like a shitty venue that smells like beer and loud music playing. It's just, it feels right.
It's just it's a perfect moment for me. Just
Yeah, hell
as soon as I hear that first chord, I'm just like, oh, here we go. And
settled in.
Yep. You mentioned that running out when you're young and everyone getting guitars and stuff. Was that your first instrument you learned to play?
No.
Was it piano?
No, I wish, man. That's like on my list is I gotta start taking piano lessons. I really wish I learned piano. I probably was offered it many times and said no. But when I went to elementary school in 4th grade, I shifted to a school, PS14 in Bayonne. And you were forced to take violin. Every kid had to take it.
Wow.
Which was mostly miserable. If you can imagine a bunch of, what is it, 4th grade? How old are you there? 10?
Yeah,
9?
9.
God, 9-year-olds playing hot cross buns in a room against your will. But I had wanted a guitar or something. I thought it could be cool. And my parents were like, look, like, if you do this and you kind of figure it out, maybe you'll know if you're into it or not. But what really happened was my pops had a guitar like in college and shit, like always had a beater acoustic. He used to like hang with his friends and like take road trips across the country and they'd have a guitar. And he loved it. He just loved like sitting around playing guitar, and hadn't had one for a very long time. So one Christmas, the idea came for this, the $100 guitar pack with the amp and everything. And it showed up and my mom was fucking pissed because she was like, he's never going to play this. Why did you do this? Like, but my dad just wanted a guitar in the house so he could play it. So he was like, look, he'll get into it, even if maybe he'll like it. But really, he really just wanted to be able to have himself play the guitar. And fast forward, I don't know, it's got to be over 15 years now. Little did he know. But that's how that kind of happened. It was more of an own gift that doubled as my Christmas gift.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you get that, and you said you're rushing out to get with your friends and form bands and stuff. What was the name of the first band that you formed with just friends making noise?
Well, the first band I joined was a band that already existed. And that was Nick Jorgensen's band, actually, my bass player, Mercy Union, and musical life partner. It was a thrash metal band called Absent Mind. And I became the third guitar player because, of course, that was necessary.
Well, yeah, you always need 3.
And the thing was, every one of them was way above talent level from where I was at with guitar. So like we do like a lot of Slayer covers, and I'd basically be the one just palm muting like the open note, the whole time. But I could sing. Like that was the one thing I said. I was like, I could scream like Tom Araya maybe if you turn the PA low enough and I could just yell. But it was just like a fun way to like get in a room with other people and kind of like figure that out. But then the first thing that I kind of started getting together, which would turn into the Scandals, I believe we called it like Abracadaver or something at like 12, 13 years old, some dumb shit like that. 2 people will probably laugh their fucking asses off hearing that. But the Scandals, literally, I started when I was 14 in 2004, and that was kind of the first real thing ever.
Wow, Abracadaver! That
real
I don't
good,
know.
right?
It could be in our top 5 of worst first band names ever.
Dude, we were. If you saw the crew of us, you would get it right off the top. Oh man!
So when was the first time you performed live in front of strangers? Was it a talent show or something?
It's like I know these are kind of like really. This is a good story. The first time I ever played guitar live was with my neighbor, who's still my neighbor. She had an all-female cover band called the Fembots, and they're fucking good. They're really good. They're not all together now, but she still does this kind of thing, and they're super talented. She actually has like a whole practice space like built into the crib and everything. And she knew I was playing guitar and doing all that stuff, and she was like, "Why don't you come over to practice one day and like just sit in and see what's up?" I had to be like 12 maybe or 13. And we did like, I think we did Smells Like Teen Spirit and Crimson and Clover, and she like printed the tabs out for me, and like they were all just so cool, like full blown adults just hanging out. Like this is what they did. Like they played gigs on the weekends.
I mean, you're a young kid playing a Tommy James song.
Dude, I mean, I was nerved up. I was like, yo, this is a lot. And so finally she was like, yo, we used to have a block party every year on our block. She was like, yo, we're going to just play like in the driveway. We're just going to set up and do it. She's like, do you want to come over and play one of those songs? And I was like, I guess, you know? And I was shitting my pants, like shitting my pants. And they introduced me as Jared from the Boulevard, because my house is on a corner that shares it with the Boulevard and the regular street. You know, there were kids on that block that I came up with in music years later that still referred to me that. Some of them still, I'll get a text, how's Jared from the Boulevard doing? So that was my first one. Lois Ann, thank you. Appreciate you. We got to get the jam going again. I'll rip Crimson and Clover any day.
That's awesome. I think you found the name of your next solo album, Jared from the Boulevard. I mean,
God, come on now. I'll get the J-Lo feature on it.
Just wear tight, sparkly pants and show your ass on the front cover, and everybody will get it.
You know, I got to get some sort of an ass to do that, I think.
So after you were done shitting your pants and you performed,
yeah.
I mean, when was it the point when you kept performing and knew it was something you want to continue to do?
I mean, so there was a huge gap in between like that experience and like an actual band I was in getting a show. I mean, we started, like I said, 2004, a bunch of us, we put out our first demo that was wildly horrendous. But hysterical.
Now you put it out. What did you do to put it out? Like, how did you? Were you just handing it to friends and people going
Dude, we
by?
were selling it. Dude, here's the funny thing. So I just was like, yo, we got to make this legit. So I would like do the logo on the stupid, like, you know, the sticker labels that you have to press onto the CDR.
Yeah.
Do all that shit. Get the jewel case, print out album art and everything, like, and I'd sell them for like $5 in our high school. And the thing was, like, we had a good amount of buds, so it would be like, yo, we actually made its music. Like, it was like magic to me. Like, holy shit, this is my voice coming out of this CD, you know. And we'd sell them for $5. But the thing was, we had a record store in town called Sound City. That is where I basically found my foundation of shit, and they had a lot of shit, ton of metal, which was like they went deep on like the foreign and imported stuff, but they had some people in there who they really stocked like a lot of punk and hardcore and pretty obscure shit too. But at the time, like, yo, $15 when you're 14 years old is a lot of money. But every time I sold 3 CDs, that's a new CD at Sound City, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, we weren't, like, putting in the band fund or anything. I was just straight up rolling. As soon as I got rid of 3, I was rolling right to Sound City buying another record, which I guess in turn was a good investment at some respect. But, yeah, we were, you know, passing them out. I'm glad we probably didn't sell more than we did because no one's brought it up in a while. But, yeah, so we had that demo. And at the time, man, that was the thing in Bayonne. Like, we weren't the first band. There were fucking amazing bands, like bands that to this day I'll still put the records on and go, that band should have been signed and on tour 250 days of the year. And it really was like this weird pocket of people that inspired everybody. Like, I watched all these older kids play packed shows to VFWs in town, and kids went off and went nuts, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And we would try to get on shows. No one would let us on shows, man. Like, I think it took until 2005, December of 2005, I think, was our first show. So almost 2 years, or a year and a half for anyone to like allow us to play anything. But we would just beg, dude. We beg. No one would let us. And we ended up doing, the first one was Post 282 in Harrison. He had to sell like 20 tickets or some shit, do that whole thing. We had all the Bayonne roll out. It was sick as fuck. It was awesome. But like we proved it. We were like, yo, we're gonna drag kids out, and that's how it kind of always happened, was everyone repping. But there was like a really, really special thing in Bayonne for about, I would say, from like 2000 to probably 2010 or 12. Like there was some amazing bands all doing shit together and learning how to do it together. That I wish, someone tapped into a little more and saw it, because it was cool.
Well, I think that's what happens a lot, is like there are these pockets. I'm from Jersey too, and like there were these little pockets of areas that just bands were fucking crushing it and putting out amazing fucking records and albums, and you're just like, how are they not huge? How can I meet somebody and they don't know who they are, even in the great state of New Jersey? Like, it's just like, they're a Jersey band. How do you not know them? And it's always hard to look back at things like that. I mean, there's so many bands that were fucking just brilliant from Jersey, and it's just like, yeah, one or two albums, and they fucking killed those one or two albums, and then they're never heard from again. No one in the band ever heard from again. It sucks.
Yeah, it's a bummer, and it's I don't know. I always kind of feel like it was made, like it still exists. It can be found, but you can never put lightning in a bottle again. Yeah, I wish you could have came to Bayonne at those times, man. We were having house shows that were nuts. There was VFW and Knights of Columbus shows that were absolutely insane. That to this day, I haven't seen that again. Honestly, like kids doing it, young kids doing everything themselves, all the artwork, learning how to record each other, taking each other's pictures, borrowing each other's gear. I mean, we had like brother bands that, they were so fucking good. They were so good that it'd be like, yo, I don't have an amp that works. Like, can I borrow your Marshall for this bigger show? Of course, And I'm not seeing a ton. I know I'm also like in this specific place, and I know it's happening elsewhere, but I wish it was happening here. But like, just I miss the 15-year-old kids, like just grinding it out, figuring it out. I've been waiting for that band, especially in the punk world, to just kick up again in Jersey.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I love the smaller venue, intimate shows of, let's see, last show I was at was at Mercury Lounge on Friday.
Yeah.
Small venue to see a fucking old band, but still kill it, the Figs. And, prior to that was House of Independence in Jersey, where I saw you open for Face to Face there. And like the smaller venue vibe, and like Crossroads it's just one of my favorites. It's 200 people, like, and it's small, it's intimate, but it has that feeling like, now that I'm adulting, but it gives me a little bit of that former VFW or Masonic temples that go see, and all these bands that I grew up loving, that, a Weston and 49 Reasons. I saw, like, seeing Jimmy Eat World and the Get Up Kids and all these bands in, VFW halls and roller skating rinks is just like, that was so amazing. And I can't remember the last time I was at one.
Yeah, that's a good point too. There's places it's happening like that, but it was so prominent that I think we all took it for granted. And there also was that young energy of like, I'll go see a show anywhere. I mean, the weird places I've been to see shows that are some of my favorite of all time, like, you tell me that now, like, oh, you're gonna go to this like basically condemned house in Syracuse and play, like, nah, I'm good, man. Like, I'm cool with the black mold poisoning, like, I don't know. Like, there was more more sense of adventure and less worry about the risks involved when
Yeah.
you were under 18 years old, rolling out to that shit. But yeah, it still happens in an organic way, but it's I'm sure it's a little harder to find.
Yeah, I mean, my day was driving up to somewhere in New York State in the basement of a bar. You couldn't even go through the bar. You went through the side doors, and
Yeah.
shit's dripping on you, and because some band was playing in the basement that held 15 people, and you're like, yeah, no, we're going.
Oh, it's the best. And you just
If our
feel the
parents
heat.
only knew. Yeah.
You feel the heat of the amps and like everybody down in that basement. It's like, it's really like a visceral thing that you can't really explain why it makes sense. But, and it's even to the point where like I would take like casual people that were never in that world. I would be like, you need to just come to this once and just feel, skeptical and everything. And everyone would always leave like, yo, that was an experience. That was a fucking trip. Kids losing their shit in a basement somewhere in New Brunswick.
The
I
New
don't think that'll
Brunswick
ever go
days.
away.
No, the New Brunswick area, those are so many shows of, seeing Alf from X number 5 working at Crossroads and being like, yeah, I saw you in a basement in fucking New Brunswick.
Fuck yeah.
Like,
see, that's the era, man, that I straight up, man, it kills me that I missed all that shit, that I missed the melody, that I missed all of those bands just ripping through on a weekly basis. It really, I was born like a decade too late, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, you've still had the experiences, and those were my experiences. So those are mine, and you had yours a decade later, and those are yours. So that's totally fine.
Yeah, but it would have been cool to have a little of those too.
Yeah.
Trust me.
So what was your first concert you ever attended? Were you dragged to something by your parents?
First concert ever. It was either like Backstreet Boys or Buddy Guy. I can't think of which one it was.
Those are two way totally different.
Uh-huh. Yeah. The Backstreet Boys one I remember because like my cousin had tickets and shit, and they were like, and I was into it. I loved it. I was down with it. I was like 7 years old. Yeah, this shit's rips. I'll still put on Millennium and fuck with that shit. But they had extra tickets, and they're like, you want to go? I remember going to that. And Buddy Guy was super young. That might have been first. Because my dad was really into that shit. He loved blues stuff and was a big Buddy Guy guy. And like, they was just down to go to stuff. That was cool. Like, he was the one that always, when I got into the punk stuff and needed to go to shows, he was down with it. Like, he got in every band I'd bring home Rancid. He'd be like, I fuck with this. Like, this is sick. And like, 'cause he was big on Patti Smith and Blondie, and Ramones were one of his favorite bands. So it kind of like opened another door in his life of like, oh shit. And he'd go drop me off, see the Casualties at like Knitting Factory or something. Like,
wow.
He'd go right there and be in the pit, like taking pictures, doing his, he'd just leave me. He'd be like, yo, I'm going to do me. I'm going to have a couple beers, take some photos. Sometimes they ended up in the band's album art at certain points. Like, he was at the Lanes every time I was at the Lanes growing up. He was there with me, driving my ass to Asbury. So he was taking me to those shows. It was either Buddy Guy or Backstreet Boys, one of the two.
That's awesome. It's awesome to have a partner in crime who's also your pops,
Yeah, big ups for that, And I was like, yo, 5 people are hopping in the car with 4 people. He's like, yeah, I'll throw them in. They all ended up being his students in high school, which was even funnier. We'd be like on the weekend going to shows, and Monday morning we're all in his class. So, but yeah, I wish I had like a cooler. So many of my friends are like, oh, I saw like Tom Petty my first show was Iron Maiden with like my uncle. I'm like, yeah, cool. Yeah, I saw the Millennium Tour where they came down on surfboards from the ceiling. That was fucking sick,
Hey, listen, mine was Kenny Rogers, so
yeah,
it's not, and my second was Barbara Mandrell. So, like, you want to talk? Like, I've come a long way.
Yeah.
I've come a long way to be getting on a plane tomorrow to fly to Denver to see Jawbreaker, Descendant, Sam I Am, and Face to Face. So,
and that's the thing too, is like 15 years ago, I wouldn't have disclosed Backstreet Boys information, and now I'm like, damn, I think I would go see them now. It's probably sick. Like, honestly, the visual of them coming down on surfboards was sick as fuck. Like, who doesn't want to see that? I'll go see whoever at this point. I'm down for it. any
Any live
experience.
music. I'm in. Count me in.
Hell yeah. I got all the love for it.
What was the first concert or show you got to pick? What was the first one that you went to that was your choice? Like, I'm going to do this.
It might have been Warped Tour. And that was like a
PNC?
big no, English Town.
Oh, English Town. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that might I think that was it because it was a big like I got to convince Mom Duke to let me like rip this because like you look into what it is and you're like get the fuck out of here, you know, like all these people, no cell phones, so like you just get dropped off like. And the cool thing about it was my best friend growing up, his dad was like into thrash metal and shit when he was growing up. So when I got his son into all this stuff, like I was his conduit into punk and all that. So we did everything. We went to every show together. And so his pops would be like, yeah, I'll go to the show. And him and my pops would hang, have some beers, go watch bands. And we would just run around like assholes the whole time. So I think it was Warped Tour, unless it was a local show, because there was a ton of local shows happening that I remember. The first one of those I went to, it was a band called No Say from town. That was like everybody's fucking idols growing up. They were like Sick of It All meets Rancid. Like it was the perfect blend of like hardcore and like fast melodic punk, and they did it so well. And I remember that was like one of the first times ever like being in a pit and fucking getting my ass rocked, you know, like just totally like jawed by somebody and like feeling that sensation of like that's new, you know, like that's a very new feeling. Yeah, I think it was Warped Tour.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean at that time you could find out what things were. I remember it was 91 and my sister was 4 years older than me, and I was just like the little brother who liked to tag along. But Lollapalooza up in whatchamacallit.
Wait, let me say, because I've had everyone in this age group tell me about this Lollapalooza at Waterloo Village.
Yep.
Of course.
They did it 3 years in a row.
Jane's Addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Dinosaur Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
Who else? I feel like I was there.
Pearl Jam was there. Yeah, I mean, it was
Rage?
early.
Did Rage play?
Rage was 92 or 93 because I was at that one as well. But like our parents had no idea what it was about. Like no clue that, oh no, we're leaving at 8 a.m. and we'll be home at 1 a.m. And my sister was 17 or 18, so I was 13 and just dragging like I want to go. And like and if they knew, there's no fucking way. Like they gave me a hard time when like I would think I was 16 and my friends, we went to English Town to Birch Hill Manor to see Face to Face, my favorite band at the time. Like, and like right when Don't Turn Away comes out, and my friend, long story short, friend had to sneak me in drawing stuff. Also, Matt Riddle helped me get in. I had no idea what he looked like because there was no pictures of them in the thing. And I'm just sitting outside sulking as a 16-year-old, and it was an 18 and older show.
Yeah.
But like my parents, like, you're not going down the shore to go to a show at 16 years old on a school night. Like that's just not, we're not letting that happen. Lo and behold, I promise I'll go to school tomorrow. I'll get a good grade. I didn't. Yep. And, but like, it's still that memory of that's more important than anything else is that fucking full memory of getting brought in to see my favorite band and it's all my friends are there and I'm outside sulking because I can't get in because I'm not 18. But I still get to see my favorite band perform. Like those are more important than fucking anything that would have happened the next day in school. And if they only fucking knew.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, you get it. Honestly, part of that pushback is what made it so great. You know, like part of that pushback made the story of you getting in there and the release that you felt seeing that band when you know you had to like jump a few hurdles to get into it. Literally, that's the beauty of adolescence, man. That's like what it feels like to start figuring it out. It's one thing when you can just, you look at your phone, you're like, there's 10 shows happening in New York tonight that I could literally just go to. Do I feel like it? Back then, you're like, anyone gives you the option, you'll go see fucking a polka band at a VFW if your friend's like, I'm driving, you know, like you don't give a shit. You just want to go to something.
If somebody said they're driving, I'm like, come get me.
Of course. God, I saw a lot of bad bands that way.
So did I. So is there I mean, we're talking about all these bands. Do you have a band in your life that's like never let you down? You know, some people call it favorite band. I don't. I call it a band that never lets you down. Like sometimes your favorite bands will put out something that you're not 100% with, but there's usually a band that you just listen to, you can put on at any time, and they just never let you down when you listen to it.
There's a couple of those for sure. The Bouncing Souls have always been that for me. Anytime I hear any of that stuff, I get the same response I got the first time I heard it. And putting out like consistent material like that too is it's tough. Alkaline Trio's always been a constant for me, big time. I'm trying to think of who else. Like, still,
Trio comes up a lot on here on this show.
That is
from
like
all different walks of life, and I love it. I love that it is still something, because again, one of those bands that they had a tiny sliver of a break, but not big enough that everybody knows them.
Yeah, and at the time, the time I'm talking about in Bayonne, man, everyone fucked with that. Like the darkness of the imagery, like because everyone here was into the Misfits and Danzig and Samhain and all that shit. So like it tied into that whole imagery while also being the catchiest shit in the entire world. And dirty, you know, like, I mean, goddamn, it's a dirty sounding record. It's amazing. But those records and the progression that they had from the first to all the way up, like, taught me how to write songs in that format. Like, you don't need to be a crazy good guitar player. You know, harmonies. The reason I put harmonies on everything is because of how good Matt and Dan sounded together. That's how I learned how to sing harmonies, honestly, like just learning Dan's parts over Matt's parts and vice versa. But yeah, they've been a constant staple where I will pretty much buy any record that comes out. Yeah, those two are pretty high up there. I'm never good on the spot because I want to just like look at my record collection and like, oh, this came out too.
That's why I'm lucky I record with my record collection and CDs and tapes surrounding me, so I can just swivel the chair at all times.
That's pretty smart. Honestly, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna go with them.
All right. So here's one. It'll be hard, but I'll let you do it 3 different ways. If you met someone and they never heard your music, what song of your solo stuff would you play for them, and what song of Mercy Union would you play for them, and the Scandals? Like, if someone never heard any of the iterations of your music, what song would you play for them to best give them a look into what you do?
The solo stuff's a little tough because I feel like I'm in a very like different place, both performance wise and mentally than the only thing that I have out right now. But I guess I would go with the Leo probably. I would probably do that or Basements, and then Mercy Union. If we're going by what's out, it's got to be Prussian Blue right now because that shit sounds nuts.
It's fucking tight, and listening to it, I mean, from the album to this song being released, I couldn't believe the difference. And
I appreciate that.
And in a good way. Like it was fucking tight as hell, and the harmony is fantastic, and it's catchy, and it's a song that I think anyone can listen to. Like, you don't have to like be on a scene or be into something. It's something you could play for your mother, your sister, your father, your brother, your best friend. Like it's that song, and that's the progression that, like, when it came out last week and I heard it, I was like, fuck, man. I'm like, damn, he's on to something new and different and crushing it.
Thanks, bud. I really appreciate that. That's kind of, we wanted to take it to the next step on this one, you know, like, especially me personally, the production wise, I just wanted it to sound. We had this whole thing in mind when we were making it with both our buddy Rob, who engineered the whole thing, and Kevin from Gates, who mixed it. I was like, I want this to sound like the early 2000s, late 90s post-hardcore bands that got signed to the major because everyone's getting signed, like Green Day opened that door. So everyone that like is in that world, you got a deal. And they made these crazy records with these budgets that they never would have had. And we don't have the budget, but I'm going to try to make it sound like we did,
Yeah.
So that was kind of what we went into it doing. And it was the first time I ever really was able to have the idea beforehand what this record should sound like. And I'm really proud of us stepping up on all fronts, all performance wise, writing wise, and production wise. I'm really pumped. So the first thing I would show is Prussian Blue, or anything else on this new record. If you asked me nicely enough, I'd probably show it to you. But Scandals, I think, would be a tie between Avalanche and Lucky 7. That's for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
See, I like that question because if anybody asks me, I like to play them what the artist would suggest, and then I play what I would suggest.
All right.
And sometimes they're sometimes they're one and the same.
All right.
And for me, like, what's funny is on your solo, and then you put it on the Mercy Union Totem. Like, I always love that song, and then for it to pop up in two places, I was like, oh, okay, all right.
I'm a fan of that because, like, in my mind, like, again, I grew up on nothing but Bob Dylan. You know how many different versions of those fucking still making up new versions. I go see him live now, and it's like Tangled Up in Blue. I don't know it's Tangled Up in Blue until 5.5 minutes into the song. I'm like, oh shit, I guess you just changed everything about it. But I get stoked on like hearing an artist kind of put a new take on something depending on where they are.
I love new visions. I mean, I love hearing, because a lot of times when you go to record a song, you're recording a song, and then that song takes on a completely different meaning from what you initially had it for, or you were rushed, or you were just like, all right, this is a good song, we're going to put it out. But then you have that time to sit back and be like, all right, I know what I want to do with this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Love that. So we've been talking a lot about music and moments in your life. So 17 years old, you get your driver's license, you're going to pick up your best friend. What were you listening to? What was in the CD player or tape deck, or I don't know if that time or you had
that was an interesting
auxiliary.
The license year was interesting because we were basically just listening to the most obnoxious shit that we could with the windows down. And that was also when I found two people in my life that would show me like all aspects of New England and New York hardcore. That to me, I had already gone down this whole rabbit hole of like punk and street punk and pop punk and stuff, like, and found my love of all that and thought I covered most of the bases. And then when like I heard Sick of It All and fucking Have Heart and all those bands, I was like, okay, like this is a whole new thing. And that was big. Like we were all into the heavy shit at that time. Anything that if you could put it on at 11 o'clock at night would get you pulled over. We were rolling around town. I remember when that Trash Talk EP came out, we were going fucking nuts. Casey got me into Bane at a very early time, and that was like a revelation. So yeah, that was kind of pumping pretty hard at that point in 2007. Was a lot of really, really loud, obnoxious shit.
And I love that you just keep mentioning bands that, again, to me, like, I think it's always funny to me to have a conversation with someone about music and just always know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And just mention something in passing and just be like, yeah, that, and to the world that you think everyone knows something. And it's so tempting for me to just want to grab people and shake them and say, fucking listen to this. I mean, you brought up Kevin from Gates, another New Jersey band that's fucking amazing. That was fucking killer. And anytime I mention them to people who were like, nah, I never heard of them. And I'm like, all right, here you go. Like, and I change it. I literally, I forget what, their stuff was for sale really, really, like when I say it was like $1 a CD, I
Mhm.
bought 10 of each album and just packaged the 3 together and was handing them out to friends.
I love that.
And I was like, you guys got to listen to this. You
I
guys got
love
to
that.
fucking listen to this. Like, listen to all 3 albums. They're all fucking great. They're all a little different. And just getting, some people being like, yeah, it's okay. And then when I get man, they're fucking awesome. I'm like, right. And you've never heard of them before. And they're from Jersey. They're right where we are. And what the fuck? How do we not know?
Yeah, that is a band that everyone should hear, and it's like one of those things. Yo, I'm gonna gas them up real quick. That is some of the most independently creative individuals in one place that I've ever seen. You got Kevin with the production and the engineering. You got Dan and Maroney with the photos and the design and everything. Like, they're all in house. Everything that they've done creatively is their vision as a team. And over the years, being able to like loosely work with them on that and kind of see what they're doing, it's like inspiring. Like, it's inspiring to be around creative people who know how they want to present it and then accomplish it, like, and almost over exceed it, in my opinion, whenever they put out a record or put a merch thing together. It doesn't feel like, oh yeah, we just slapped this shit on here just to like sell a couple t-shirts. It's like, no, we sat here and curated this to be exactly how we want it and how we would want it if we were listening to this band. And I think everyone should get down on Gates. They got a new record out.
Yep. And my record mat is a Gates logo. And
oh, sick.
So
I didn't know they did flip mats. That's sick.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, and again, it's like you and I just talking and we can just mention bands, and it's like, it is at that time where I love now that whatever band we say, and people are listening to us talk, they can just go find it now.
Mm-hmm.
That is the good portion of where we are today in music.
Oh man, 1,000%. I mean, I have this conversation with people all the time. Everyone gets in the argument about streaming and Spotify and Apple Music, which I 100% understand both sides of that argument. Well, the one side, the major one, pay more. Yeah. Stop being an asshole about it. I agree. Yes, pay more. But for an artist at my level, like, the only way to find me or discover something is that way. So like, it is really a hard thing where the amount of people that I'm like, yeah, you came on our Discover after X, Y, and Z, Dave Haas came on, like, you came on after that. Like, that's how that worked. And I have to appreciate that too, that is something that exists, although I think they need to figure out another mode. But Apple Music, whatever it is, when I was telling you those stories of like going on LimeWire and trying to find songs, half the time the song is labeled wrong. You end up with like half a porn file that gives you a virus. I'd have to go into the city and go to Generation, digging through things to try to find new shit. And now it's like Apple Music, like, oh, I hear something. Yo, here I have the whole discography now I can dive into. And that, to me, as like a music fan, is something that still excites me. Like, every Thursday night at midnight, I sit up at the end of the night, I do whatever, and I sit and I go through all the new things that just came out. And I like have it, I like go through them. And I'm like, let's see if there's anything that I've never heard of in every genre. If the album art looks cool, I download it just to check it out,
Yeah.
And to me, that is like, if technology had anything, the fact that I can just flip through endless discographies is so sick.
And that is my favorite thing. And that's how just like you, that's how I get my excitement. Like, my thing is Bandcamp, and like new, and clicking on every subgenre and just being like, okay, what's new? And then finding someone and then going and listening to everything, because I'm one of those people. If I hear one song, because I'm of the ilk where if you're an artist, you can always write one good song. Mm-hmm. So you get one good song, but I need to, well, I mean, there is a lot of shit out there, but trust me, with
being real.
Yeah, there is a lot of shit out there. I've said it one too many times. That is one of the bad things about streaming too, is that
Yes.
anybody can fucking do it.
Yeah.
When you shouldn't.
But that's also a good part about it.
Yeah, because you can.
Of course. And you
Yeah.
can figure it out.
But it's I'll go back, I'll hear one good song, and then I go listen to everything that artist does and be like, yeah, they're fucking awesome. How have I never heard of these guys before? And then I just all in, and then I just start, peddling it out to other people and say, you got to check this out.
Hell yeah. It's a great feeling. Discovery it will never lose its excitement. That genuinely feels like one of the only forms of magic that exist on this earth, is like when you discover something that really hits you and settles in a certain way, and now it's with you forever. There was the day before that you had never heard it before, and it wasn't there, and now it is. It's like, well, it will never not be fun.
It's still fun. That's why I never miss an opener to a show.
Good for respect.
Like I'm always the first one there. If you see me at Crossroads, if you're there before doors, I'm sitting outside in the cold waiting to get inside so I don't miss a fucking moment of what's going to happen that night. Because
well, dog, you should know at Crossroads by now. It's usually about 3 hours between the doors and when the band goes on. So you might have a little time you can spare.
Listen, I get yelled at all that my wife. She's just like, I don't know why we get here early when she comes to shows with me. There, she's like, I'm like, well, we'll be okay. And she's like, okay, we go inside, we sit there for an hour or so. And I'm like, listen, I just don't want to miss anything. And that's just how I am. I have the time. What else am I going to do? Sit in fucking traffic? Like I'll get here early and then I can get my drink on and then stop when the band's go on so I can really enjoy it.
Yeah. Yo, respect though, because I'm the same way. Like, in my opinion, I've been an opener this entire time, and when people show up, it makes it worth it. You feel that in the room, and because they don't have to. You really, that who they bought the ticket for. That's not lost on you when you're standing on stage, and when you see people actually show up and give a fuck, if you don't like it, that's cool. Like, it is what it is, but it's a great feeling to just know like people are there, and that's how I found most of my favorite bands, was being there to see the opener.
Yeah, and that's one of those. It's those things too that I've got to see you in many different iterations. And like when you played with Ben in January last time I saw you perform, I was just like, yeah, no, like I brought friends who had never seen you with me, and I was just like, oh no, I'm like, he's fucking tight as hell. I'm like, and Ben's awesome. I'm like, and we were there for both of you. Like, that's what I also love too, because when I first saw you, I didn't know you and never heard of your stuff, and then I was like, fuck, this guy's fucking talented. And then whatever you do in the area, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go tonight because he's a talented fuck and he deserves people to be there and know how good he is. So
I appreciate that, bud. Thank you.
All right, I know you're not good on the spot, but here's an on the spot.
Oh boy. Hit me.
All right. World's going to end. Meteors crashing into Earth. You have 5 minutes left to live, and you have to listen to one song. What song would you listen to?
Oh, God. Jesus Christ. What song would I listen to? What a fucking question.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Like, is it a song that the world ends as soon as the song ends?
No. It's just you're putting on that song.
Oh, so it's not like pick the longest song that you could think of.
No, it's not. You're putting on Stairway to Heaven and you die halfway into it.
This is fucking brutal.
All right, listen.
Look. I know I'm bad at this. I know, because I make these lists in my own head and I revise them and then I forget them all the time. My first thought goes to God Only Knows, but I think that's like a too easy of a thought. But it's like one of the prettiest songs in the entire world.
Listen, the Beach Boys are the reason why I love music. So, literally downloading the Brian Wilson documentary to watch on the plane tomorrow. So, I'm all in on that. And you're fine. You're fine with that. You can stop. I don't need a cool answer.
I'm not like
you're not sold on it.
Not looking for the cool answer. Looking for the correct answer.
There is no right answer because it's the last decision you're going to make. So,
Dog, do you realize like picking dinner to me is like an anxiety inducing thing? Like, so telling me, yeah, the last song, yeah, it's fucking important. What do you mean? Jesus. I mean,
you got to
part of me
start making
thinks
these lists now.
part of me thinks it should just be like a party song because, like, fuck it, right?
Yeah. Andrew WK.
No, that doesn't get me all kinds of jacked up.
Have you
Like,
ever seen him live?
I played with him once.
Did you?
It was just him and an iPod
Ah,
in Atlantic City.
wow.
Strange night.
I didn't know. Listen, his shows are strange nights, but someone told me, they're like, listen, if you ever get a chance to see him, you got to go see him. And I went and saw him at Irving Plaza, and I literally walked out. I was like, yeah, it could have been one of the best shows I've ever seen. It was just
Was it full
fucking
band?
crazy. Yeah, full band, and it was just crazy, sick, insane. And I was like, holy fuck. Like, walked out like, holy fuck, what was that? I don't know what it was that I just saw. All I know is that it was fucking awesome.
That's pretty sick. End of the
Foxy-
line, Traveling Wilburys. That's my final answer.
Okay. All right. We got to it.
That's it.
That's
Sums it all up.
All right.
There's my cool answer. But God only knows.
I'll take both
second.
of them. Yeah.
God Only Knows is just fucked up. What a fucked up song. Yeah. I don't know what else we were talking. We that was two different things there.
That's totally fine. We jump all around. It's all about music, so it can go in many different directions.
Good.
How about, is there anything, I mean, I know nowadays we're all, we don't give a fuck what people think, but there's always that split second where you could be listening to something and someone walks in and you get a little nervous that they heard you listening to it. Do you have any classified as guilty pleasure, but do you have anything like that?
Yo, honestly, at this point in my life, I haven't felt that in a very long time. The weirdest thing, maybe, I'm trying to think of some of the weird shit I listened to. I could probably just look through my recently played and tell you, because here's the thing about it is, like, over the last like 5 to 6 years, I've had to like look into other places to find any kind of inspiration, because you just want to hear new sounds after a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that to me is like what I'm constantly looking for, is like, what's something that sounds like a little, it just makes me think of writing in a different way, or think of even listening to something in a different way. Let me just peruse through this old catalog here of something that could be potentially embarrassing. I mean, we got some Ariana Grande in here. I fuck with that. I don't give a fuck. Trying to think of something like I bump all the time.
I think, I mean, Ariana Grande, I mean, for someone that creates the music that you do, people would be probably surprised to hear that.
I just like a good pop song. If someone wrote a good pop song, I'm getting into it. Not necessarily searching it out, but when it's beating your brain so much that you don't get sick of it, I'm like, damn, that's tight. What is embarrassing? Look, I told you the on the spot questions weren't going to be great.
That's fine.
Yeah, they're terrible. They are fucking terrible.
You remember the last song you listened to that made you cry?
Oh God, I do. It was a Mac Miller song.
All right.
Yeah. Mac Miller song. What the fuck is the name of it? I'll look it up right now. It's the first song on that record. That's been on a rotation over the last. Yeah, Come Back to Earth. That was the last one.
All right. See, you had that one. You had.
Yeah, it was a recent. It
was 3 minutes before this show.
Yeah, it wasn't in the long-term memory log. It's kind of just some things. There's context for sure, but that was probably it.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to get into the last thing that we do here, but I mean, I know you and I could sit here and talk about music for the next 5 hours, but I don't want to keep you forever.
Sure.
So I just want to give you this opportunity to tell everybody how to find everything that you're doing, all the time, everything that you're creating, and where to follow you, all your handles and all that kind of stuff. Give you that opportunity to get that out in their world. We're going to do it as well when we post this, but I want to give you the opportunity to tell everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So you can find me on the gram at jhart201. That is me. You can tell by the area code. And I think it's the same on Twitter or whatever that is. But all my music, all Mercy Union's music, streaming on all platforms. If you're interested in anything physical, I run my own little mini label called Mount Crushmore Records. That's been a fun project of mine where I'm pressing some vinyl that I wanted to personally have. So that's what I did. So you can get any Mercy Union stuff, Scandal stuff there, solo stuff, including other bands. We got a band, Zopa, put a great record out. We got Entropy. Got some cool stuff coming out this year. My buds in Walk the Plank. And someone else, another cool artist, joining the roster in the next couple of weeks, which should be fun. So yeah, just hit up Mercy Union. New records coming out soon. And check out Prussian Blue. There's a cool ass visualizer on YouTube, so make sure you check that out too. We got this cool little like Windows 98 screensaver thing if you want to like get a little stony baloney and put it on the projector, you know?
I had it on the TV last night.
Hell yeah. I love that.
So, all right, we're going to come into our last segment. It's our weekly threes. It's 3 things that you're listening to right now that you would like people to check out. Could be old, new, doesn't matter. But 3 things that you're listening to as an artist.
I am listening to a band called School Drugs from Asbury Park. They are an awesome thrashy hardcore punk band that's harkening back to a really nostalgic era of that sound, of like a negative approach, like really just grimy, fast, well-written songs. And again, my boy Josh, the singer of that band, is really doing a lot in terms of the visuals and the curation of it. Like I was talking about with Gates, he's doing some really awesome things with that. Who else am I fucking with? The new Be Well is pretty awesome. And who else am I talking about? How about Chloe Hawes from England? Shout out to Chloe. She put out a great EP last year called Finn, and I love that. And I'm gonna try to cover the first song on that EP soon. So yeah, some good records out there. I could shout that whole crew though. Chloe, Arms and Hearts, and Ollie. You gotta check those 3 kids out. They're all from Manchester and they rip. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. My 3 for this week are, my first one's the Penske File, Ontario.
Love them.
Canada band, great band, something to check out. Burn Into Earth is the album that I've just been ripping lately. Next is a guy called Austin Lucas, for you people out there. If you like folk, country, indie, punk, alt rock, indie, Americana, he's your guy. Does it all.
Hell yeah.
And last but not least, Nathan Gray, man, who I've loved his vocals from the first second I heard him. But his album Rebel Songs, just absolutely amazing. Just a great artist, for those of you who know, from Boy Sets Fire. But his solo stuff is straight legit.
Hell yeah.
Those are my 3 for this week.
I love it. That's a good 6. That's great.
But Jared, thank you so much for not only being on the show, but thank you for for doing what you do and creating something that gives me hours of enjoyment. Thank you for that.
Yo, thank you so much for having me and for, honestly putting all this time into doing something like this to get the word out about a bunch of people, because without people doing this kind of stuff, people in my position have a hard time passing the word around. So I really appreciate you and hope you never get sick of doing it.
Well, hey, we're coming up on our 100th episode soon, so there's no slowing me down.
What number is this one?
I think you're probably going to be like 96 or something, or 94. So
damn, you couldn't have held out a couple more?
Listen, I take the opportunity to record when someone's available to record, because I just need to get the enjoyment of having this conversation. And if you want me to hold out, I'll hold out to put you out at the 100th.
No, look, I'm not going to. That's like that's cheating. I would say hold it out to be 98, but that's for contextual reasons, which anyone following Mercy Me will figure out later. But
all right,
96 was a good year too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you had the Yanks, you had the Bulls. It was a good year.
Yeah. Well,
I'll take it.
And 98 was when I saw, who was it? Strike Force, Antarctica, Get Up Kids, and Jimmy Eat World at Skaters World in Wayne, New Jersey. So,
God, see, these are the. Oh well, you had your time. That was good. I had. Get out of here with this.
Yeah,
those bands at Skaters World.
But Jared, again, really, thank you so much. This has been so awesome. Couldn't have had more fun tonight. So thanks.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate it. I hope I see you soon.
Yeah, definitely. But everybody out there in the world, you know what to do next. You go out, listen to Jared Hart, listen to Mercy Union, and have a great fucking time.
Forget and leave it all behind.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.